it's Jackie Ballheis from Compin Stampers. Today, I have two fun cards I'm going to make for you today. Both quick and easy, perfect for brand new beginner stampers or those of you that just want some fun, quick cards to make using the Layering Leaves stamp set. Oh, this is one I think you're going to like, and there's so many possibilities to make some quick and easy cards with very limited supplies. So that's what I'm going to share today. Let's go ahead, flip the camera down, and let's get stamping. So for today's project, we're going to use limited supplies. That's why I said it's great for those of you that are newer stampers. You don't always need a lot of stuff to make cute cards. So it's kind of a SIP card, stamps, ink, and paper. I do a lot of those, but we're going to add a punch. Well, maybe two punches on one of the cards. But it just goes to show that with limited supplies, we can have a lot of fun. So our paper for this is going to be the vanilla note cards. I love these when you get a pack of them because you get 20 of them. The note cards are all scored, ready to fold, and then you even get the envelopes to go with it. So I'm going to use that as the base for my card. Now, because I'm going to do just a little bit of layering to give it some dimension, I also took a sheet of 8.5 by 11 of very vanilla, and I just cut a couple of strips from some scraps. And I also have a piece of old olive cardstock. Now, the project I'm going to share with you today, you could use any color that coordinates. It's all about the color coordination. So I have old olive, and then I have old olive ink, as well as early espresso. Now, this stamp set, Layering Leaves, it's so nice because you have just all different sayings, greetings. So you could make a card for whatever you want. And that's what I want you to really see, that quite often it's a card layout that we design or we make. And then no matter what greeting we add to it will determine the type of card. So if you need thinking of you, happy birthday, thank you, just add the appropriate greeting and they'll have a card for that. And this set is perfect for all of those occasions, actually. So let's go ahead and start with the early espresso. And then I am going to use for the greeting on this one, just the word hello. I thought this would just be a fun, send it to someone for whatever reason. Now, when you look at the stamp set, you will see that there's actually 3 different stamps that have the leaf. We're just going to call it a leaf. I guess it'd be more of a branch. And then this punch that coordinates with it will punch that out. It will also punch out this little flower image, of which you have 2 different options for that one as well. Now, for this card, we are going to stamp our leaf or branch, whatever we want to call it. And I just happen to have that one, and we are going to stamp it in that same early espresso. Now for the first one, I'm going to come over here kind of to the left, up kind of towards the top. Now we have to kind of play around a little bit here because ultimately this strip is going to go across it, and I don't want the stem to stick out below it. Like I wouldn't want the strip to be here because I don't like that little piece sticking there. So we know we're going to go about right there. Now I'm going to stamp this another time, and this time I want it to be a little bit lower, just to, again, more dimensions, some taller, some shorter. So I'm going to actually take a Post-it note and I'm going to put it right there. And we know we're safe now that we're not going to stamp below this green strip because when I stamp it, it is going to go onto the Post-it note. Okay, so when I peel that off, we can tell now, oh, I got a little smudge there. Oh, and our old olive is going to cover it up. Perfect. So that strip is going to go right there like that, and now we don't have anything sticking below it. So next, we're going to go ahead and take our old olive. So we're only using 2 inks. Now you could use any color inks for this. That's kind of the beauty of these stamps. And with the old olive, we're going to go on scrap paper first. And then this just fills in really nice, those leaves. Scrap paper first to make it just a little bit lighter. And there's our 2 leaves. Now let's go ahead and take this very vanilla scrap that I told you I had. And we are going to, where's my stamp? Do the same thing. So we will stamp a leaf or branch, whatever you want to call it. Same thing, stamp off first. And then line that up like so. And then I can take my punch, and we got to go this way. And you can see here how I'm just lining that image up in there like so. And then we'll punch it. And here's going to be an extra one to pop in there with a couple of dimensionals. Now, I also want a couple of the flowers. So for this, here's a little thing I haven't done in quite a while, is I'm going to use my Stampin' Up markers so that I can get multiple colors on my stamp at one time. Now, make sure if you do this and you take your marker and you put it directly onto your stamp, that you always use the Stampin' Up or a water-based marker. Don't use your alcohol markers or your Stampin' Blends because they will just dry on here and essentially be coloring your stamp. That ink's not going to transfer like what you're going to see here in a second. So I put on Old Olive and then Berry Burst, and now you can see my image has both of those colors. That's one way to get multiple colors on a stamp at one time. It's also, you know, sometimes you might not have all the ink pad colors, so I like to think of the markers as mini little ink pads. Now granted, the stamp's pretty little, but you could do this on a larger stamp as well. Just use your markers for that. And we're going to stick that one on there too. So we'll have 2 of those. Now we can use the same punch and we can come in here and we'll line it up. Oops, let's see. Usually I have my head straight over it, but I'm trying to do it so you can see. So there's one flower, and then we'll slide it down here. Oop, come on. Oop, I'll make sure I get that stem on there. There we go. Okay, so there's our 2 flowers. Now, I think we're ready. Oh, before we put this together, I almost forgot the most important part. There is a stamp in here. I call it a speckle stamp. Over the years, we've had various versions of this. Now, I'm going to add just a few real light, you know, kind of light-handed there. I don't want to just, you know, like kill my leaves, we'll call it. So I'm going to just stamp it and stamp it again just to add, it just adds some dimension and some texture there. Then let's go ahead and grab the mini dimensionals, and I like to use the pointy end of my Take Your Pick tool. These little mini guys are kind of hard. I kind of scoop it up underneath and use my finger, and it will just barely fit on these leaves. So let's go ahead, and I think it fits up on this top one too. Just barely. It's almost like you got to turn it the right way. And then you can stab it and pop the backs off. And we're going to take this little guy and we will stick him right in between the other ones. So see how nice that looks when it just pops up a little bit. And then we're going to use some good old-fashioned Scotch tape and just take a couple little pieces. Well, we'll do one at a time here. And what I'm going to do is hold my Old Olive on here, where that's going to go, and then I can determine where do I want my flower. So let's see, I think right there looks kind of good. So we can kind of pick it up, oops, flip it over, and add some Scotch tape. I like to then kind of test it. Did I get it in the right spot? I like that. That looks pretty good. You can, probably an easier way is actually take your Scotch tape and stick it on the bottom of the flower like so. Make sure the sticky part's up, and you can do the same thing here. We're going to just kind of place this. Where do we want it? Yeah, let's see. That probably looks good right there. Let's double check here. Yeah, I like that. Then this I'm not going to pop up. I'm going to use my regular adhesive so that this is flat. Put that all along, and then we're going to just flip that over and kind of slide it. If you have a hard time getting that straight, what I do is I line up on that grid paper, and then I can see, ooh, I'm kind of just below that darker line, so we'll come just below that, and that helps me just get it straight on there. So there is the front of the card. Now, we always got to make sure we make the inside cute as well. So we're going to go ahead and we'll put 2 of these in there. Same thing. Everything's going to coordinate. So we've got that. And then while we're at it, let's go ahead and do an envelope. And you can see if I was to actually stamp this without talking, it would probably take me like 2 minutes total. So quick and easy with limited supplies. That's what we're all about here. Let's go ahead. We'll add a few of the speckles there and speckles there. And then, let's see, since it says hello, why don't we go ahead and also just put thinking of you. And we're going to kind of put it over to the side here for something a little bit different. So there is our first card. Now, when I design cards, I tend to kind of come up with a design and then I will make several using that same design. So you can see here, very similar. I didn't add the flowers on there. This one is thank you. Okay. And there's our envelope. And then same idea again. And I just turned it the other direction, but otherwise it's the same concept. Just used a different leaf here. But there's our flowers, and it's a thinking of you, sending hugs. So one design, 3 different ways. Now I want to go ahead and show you another design that you could use with all the different leaves and all the different words in this stamp set. And once again, we will use one of the note cards and envelopes. So that's why I said a pack of these, you get 20. So it's going to go a long, long way to make a lot of cards. Now for this one, I want to use another scrap of that very vanilla. And this time, we're going to stamp a greeting on our scrap. Okay, so happy to celebrate you. Now I picked this one because I really want to talk about for a second how greetings don't always have to be exactly what you think they are. So happy to celebrate you could absolutely be a retirement card, a graduation card. It could even be a baby card or baby shower. Same with like thinking of you could be sympathy or any type of congratulations or an illness. You know, sometimes I think we get so stuck on what a word has to be that we forget we probably have stamps that we can do something with. So happy to celebrate you. Now for this one, I think we're going to just go ahead and use a strip here. And let's see, I got the same greeting or the same leaves here, right? Yep. And so we're going to go ahead and we're going to do 3 of them on here. I think we have enough room. Yep. So as you can see, this card is really a lot the same in many ways. Okay, our basics are the same, but it's all about a different layout with, we'll call it a different layout with the same parts and pieces. How's that? So let's see, we got to flip this the right way. Let's go ahead and punch all 3 of these out. And then I'm just going to show you a little bit different way to put together this card. So there's 3 of these. Let's get that in there. I really have kind of grown to love this little leaf punch. Okay, now for our card, what I want to end up with is these kind of sticking out from the back of our circle. So kind of the same thing. Let's do this way. Okay, sticky on the front, and you can see I can put one right there. And then we can take the other one. And I like to have them just different heights, a little different angle. One like so. And then for our final one here, let's see. Should I stay in the camera for you? And then let's bring this one kind of over that way. So there's the base or our main focal point. Now, before we put this onto the card, we're going to go ahead and use that speckle stamp again. And what I want to do is kind of envision, like roughly, where are these leaves going to fall? See, because we want the speckles to kind of be underneath it to really show the dimension we have going. And then we can grab our dimensionals to get more dimension, and we'll stick all of these on. Oop. But again, you can see limited supplies and how I can make all different cards. So there's the front, and then just like we did before, we can go ahead and put a little bit on the inside, and then we would go ahead and follow suit and do our envelope as well. But look at that, easy peasy. So 2 totally different layouts. Now I want to show you a couple other ones I did before. I started the video here and I was playing around, is this one. The only difference here is I stamped it in Old Olive and then I stamped off just like I did in Old Olive. So it's kind of Old Olive on Old Olive. Gives it just a little bit different look. Let's bring this one back. Then when you've got the green and the brown going, a little bit more subtle, I think. So best wishes. And then here, I use Granny Apple Green on this one, but I stamped I think it was Old Olive ink on top of Granny Apple Green cardstock, and then Berry Burst ink on top of bubble gum. So you have, color on color, again, just to give it a little bit different look. But otherwise, the layout's the same. So this is what I say, once you come up with a layout, you can just start playing and make all kinds of cards with that same general layout. So I hope you like these ideas. I hope you like layering leaf stamp set. Great all occasion stamp set that you'll be able to make cards for anything. You can step it up or keep them super simple. So as always, reach out to us if you have any questions or we can help you with anything. There will be a blog post, as always, that go with this video. So all you have to do is follow the link in the video description to that blog post and all the pictures of all these cards that I made, as well as the complete list of all the colors and supplies I use so that you can easily make them. Copy away. That's why I like to share ideas, to help you be crafty and creative by just copying the things I've made. So I look forward to stamping again real soon. Have a stamp happy day.